YouTube, what's going on, guys? Capital Currency here. Check it out. This is the piece I made the other day. This is my first sand cast ever in silver. I'm going to try to clean it up a bit. You can see the lines that are coming out at the top and off the side here. I got to clip those off and clean up a little bit on the edges here and a little bit on the top. I've got to cut that off, obviously. So I'm going to work on doing that and kind of take you guys along with me and show you what I'm doing. I'm probably going to end up putting it in a tumbler afterwards. And yeah, so without further ado, guys, let's get on into it. Alright guys, so before I get into the cleanup, I want to show you kind of how I did it. I didn't record it because, to be honest, I really didn't think it was going to come out that great. So I left this like it is. I didn't take any of the burnt stuff out yet because I wanted to show you what I did and kind of take you through it a little bit. So first of all, yeah, this is the bottom, and what I did was I took the piece and I stuck it down in there like that. I made sure I pushed it down enough to make sure it got up in here so I would get all that detail, and just made sure I got it down really good. And then once I did that, I took this part, put it on top, and then I started to make the lines. Now you can see here, this is the other side. That's how I did it. Basically, this was kind of like a funnel. And you can see that there's 4 holes here. So what I did is I took these lines out. I took it out. So you can see that that's what that and that is for. And I wanted somewhere for it to go. So you have gases that are obviously in there. And you also want the silver to kind of go somewhere so it's pulling it all through. So I had a line down here, a line down here. I had another one there, and then 2 up top. Now the ones here I just kind of had to go over just to give it somewhere to go. And then the ones on the bottom and the ones on the top, I actually poked holes. Like I brought it over and then poked holes through it so that the gases could escape all the way out. And I didn't pour it in from the side like this, like I tried. That's how I did the bullet. I had it going in from like the top, and I figured out that when you put these together, it moves just a little bit. Not much, but just a little bit. So what I did is I pushed it all the way down and all the way over. So it's like to this corner. And I did it like that. I made sure everything was good. When I put the sand in on top, and then when I poured it, I did the same thing. Just to make sure it was going to be in the exact same spot and I wouldn't have anything, you know, shifted from one side to the other. But yeah, I really took my time. It was at least a half an hour from the time I put that sand in the bottom, pushed it in, put the sand on the top, and then drew the lines and made sure everything was perfect. I actually didn't have the right size stick. What I used was this right here, which is a skewer. So when I made that hole down in here, I was actually kept going around and pulling it to one side and like just doing whatever I could do to kind of open it wide enough to make sure everything would get in there, because I knew that this wasn't going to be quite big enough. But I did pick up some other pieces of wood, and I think what I'm going to do is a separate video showing you all these little things that I have. I've actually made some torch holders, and I picked up a few things since the original video I did of all the stuff I got for this. So I'm going to make another video kind of showing some of the little things that you really don't think about. Toothpicks, I had to use a couple toothpicks. That's how I poked the holes through and just made sure everything could breathe good. So I'm going to go ahead and take this burnt stuff out, and I'm going to put it into my burn pile, which is actually this stuff. So I take all the burnt stuff and I put it in here. And speaking of things that I didn't buy at first, like this is another thing. I haven't used it yet, but this is way better than taking it and going like this and getting it all through. It's just, it takes forever, and then this thing gets all bent up. I'm worried about it, you know, popping out at some point, so I went ahead and bought one of those, I don't even know what you call it. one of these. I guess it's called a sifter. Anyway, so yeah, that's the stuff. I have this I used. So when I was carving out this part, I was kind of, you know, using this and flattening it down to make sure none of the sand got through. This was another piece. This little piece right here worked out pretty good for me as well. And you can like really kind of pat down the spots that you want to use, and then this you can drag stuff over. But really what I used was the toothpick. If you look at this side, all I did is just took the toothpick out and then poked it through. So yeah, I used that other piece where I told you the little spot that fell out. That was kind of how I got it back in there and kind of flattened everything out a little bit. But yeah, so, you know, sometimes when you pull it apart and you knock the thing out, the original piece, something might come with it, and you might have to touch it up a little bit, and that's fine. You know, so that's where these tools really come into play if you want to do that kind of stuff. And I have a whole bunch of them. There's like a lot of pieces. Like this one's actually pretty cool. You can really kind of get in there with some of this stuff. And got this one. It's actually kind of more like a spoon, which is good because then you can take it and get stuff out. But yeah, definitely get yourself one of these, and I'll make a separate video of all this stuff. I know I'm kind of just going over a bunch of stuff real fast. Yeah, so I'm gonna snip those things off and clean it up a little bit, throw it in a tumbler, and we'll see what it looks like. We'll be right back with that, guys. Stay tuned. All right, so I did clean that. I'm gonna show you what I'm using. These tools are amazing for this kind of stuff. See, I can really go through and just get just the burnt stuff off. You know, you just kind of scrape the burnt stuff off, and you don't have to worry about wasting a whole lot. All right, guys, so I pretty much got all the burnt stuff out of there, and now I'll save the rest of this, so we'll have it for next time. All right, guys, so I know there's a few people out there that are talking about getting started in this as well. So a little thing that I've found is I took that and just dumped it in here when I was done, and there was a lot of chunks that just kind of fell out in there, and I had some from before as well. So I've been sitting here like trying to cut up all the chunks and make sure it gets as nice as possible for the next time I gotta use it. But that's a pain in the butt, and I'm still having trouble getting it all. So next time what I'll do is before it goes in here, I'm gonna put it through the sifter and just sift it back into it. That way it's nice and broken up when I go to use it, because if you got a bunch of chunks and you're trying to press them together, you know, it might not be perfect. You want it to be as loose as possible. I do know that much. So yeah, you can see this, and especially the baby powder, I want to make sure that's broken up. I don't even like putting that back in there, but you know, I know that people do. They don't worry about that so much. As long as it gets mixed in enough, it should be fine. But yeah, so it's basically just sand that has oil in it, and that's why it sticks together so good. You definitely want to try to keep loose as possible. So I think this is pretty good for now. Anything I go to use that I want to be better, I'll just run it through the sifter. But yeah, just a little tip. All right, let's get into the cleaning. All right, so I am going to try to clean this up. Actually, you know what? Let me make a better light of this. And we're gonna cut off the little pieces here. And I do it on this tray, that way I don't lose anything. Make sure I'm not going. Oh, I'm glad I looked at that. Always want to look at both sides of where you're cutting, because you only get one cut. You can always sand some more down, but you only get one cut the first try. So make sure you aren't cutting too far one way or another. You can always take it down later. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to clean up everything, obviously a little bit better with a file, but let's get this bad boy off. Hopefully this will cut right off. This thing is really strong. Wow. It's actually, I can't believe it's working. Oh! I had a feeling that was going to happen. So let's check that out. So you can cut pretty good with those. Look at that, man. That's actually, wow. That cut pretty thick. And then I'm gonna grind that a little bit better so it's flat. I didn't want to go in too hard because, you know, I don't want to mess the wings up at all. So I'm gonna clean this up and then I'll show it to you when I get done. So I picked up this little file kit. It's pretty good for that kind of stuff. We got some round ones I can get down into, like down in the middle there. I might need to use that little round one. But yeah, there's some good pieces in here. That's a little triangle. So is that. This is a little flat one. I think I want to use those three for now. And it's actually not flat. It's kind of like a, if you can see that. Yeah, so I'm just going to clean it up. I'm running out of video time, so I'm going to, you guys know how to file. I mean, that's not that hard. I'll show you when I get done. Alright guys, finished product. I'm going to still put it in a tumbler, but that's how it's looking now. I had to take the Dremel down in between, like right up top of the eagle, in between the wings. I used the Dremel, and I used that bit for it. I filed for probably an hour. Alright guys, so I'm all finished. It's out of the tumbler. Can you tell which one is the original? Leave a comment below. Stop right now and leave a comment below which one you think is the original. I'll give you a hint. This is the original one. You can see it has the hook there, which I ended up not actually doing it that way. That's where I ended up taking the silver in at, and filled in this side. And next time I'm going to fill in this side as well. I'm probably going to either put some wax in it or glue. I'm not sure. I might even cut that off, but I kind of want to try to do it with that so you could wear it as a necklace. So I'm going to see if I can figure that out. I do have a stick that's about the right size I could put in it, so I might be able to do that. But anyway, let me show you. Check it out. I'm so proud of this. 1776, 1976. It's the Bicentennial. Dates in the talons. That is so awesome. I really like this piece, guys. For my first silver pour ever, this is amazing. And actually, this side over here, I took the file in every little corner here because it was kind of more rounded. And you could see on the back, it was, you know, there was a little bit more on the back. So I ended up taking the file in every single one and getting it. There was a lot that was up here, and I had to file all that out. I filed the top down pretty good, and then got it as best I could. I wanted it to kind of sit up a little bit though, so I left that kind of there. I think what I'm going to do is next time, like from here where it's indented all the way down to the beak, I'm probably going to fill that in a little bit better. And that way it'll give me kind of somewhere to stamp as well. I want to try to stamp 3/9 fine over here. If it's the right size, 3/9 fine might be bigger than this, but I don't think it is. I think it'll fit there. But yeah, this only weighs a little bit over ½ an ounce, so I do want to try to make it a little bit heavier. So I'm definitely going to try to fill it in a little bit more in the back. But I think it turned out amazing. For my first silver pour ever, I am pretty proud of this. Not first silver pour ever, but first sand cast ever. I'm pretty proud of it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But anyway, guys, this is it. Finished product. Thank you for watching. I appreciate everybody's support, and everybody seems to be, you know, proud of me like I'm proud of myself. So I really do appreciate that. You guys are amazing, and all the great comments about how awesome it looks really does mean a lot to me. And this is just the beginning, guys. We're going to do so much more. So I appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.